What if I told you that some of the things you're sharing with your woman might be pushing her away? Let's dive into the 5 secrets you should never reveal if you want to keep your relationship strong and healthy. 1. Your vulnerabilities and weaknesses. Let's talk about the first secret you should never tell your woman, your vulnerabilities and weaknesses. Now, I know this might sound counterintuitive to some of you. You might be thinking, but isn't being open and vulnerable a key part of building intimacy and connection in a relationship? Well, yes and no. While it's absolutely essential to be authentic in your relationship, there's a significant difference between being vulnerable at the right time and revealing every single emotional wound, fear, or insecurity too early. When we talk about vulnerabilities, we're referring to the things that make us feel exposed, uncertain, or emotionally raw. These could be past failures, unresolved trauma, insecurities about your physical appearance or career, or deep-seated fears about your future. The problem arises when you feel the urge to share these vulnerabilities with your partner too early, before the relationship has reached a level where sharing them won't negatively impact how she sees you. Here's why you should hold off on exposing these vulnerabilities. Strength is attractive. Women are naturally drawn to men who are emotionally steady, strong, and capable. They want someone who can stand firm in the face of challenges, someone who can navigate life's obstacles without constantly needing emotional rescue. If you reveal too many weaknesses early on, it can shake that perception of you as the strong, dependable partner. Instead of feeling secure in your presence, she might begin to see you as someone who needs constant emotional support or someone who can't handle life's challenges. That may not seem like a big deal at first, but it shifts the emotional dynamic in the relationship. When you constantly open up about your vulnerabilities, whether that's your fear of failure, your insecurities about your career, or even your emotional scars from past relationships, it can create a feeling of imbalance. Women may feel a sense of responsibility for your emotional well-being. You might not intend to put pressure on her, but by revealing too much too soon, you create a scenario where she feels like she has to be your emotional caretaker. This can be emotionally draining for her, and over time, it can lead to resentment. The relationship dynamic becomes skewed, and instead of her looking to you for strength and security, she may start feeling like the roles are reversed. The key to understanding this is recognizing that women, just like men, want a partner who can offer stability. Emotional stability is crucial, especially in the early stages of a relationship. When you lay all your vulnerabilities on the table, it's like you're handing over the emotional weight of your issues to her. This can be a lot to carry, especially when she might still be in the process of getting to know you and figuring out where she stands emotionally. It's a lot of responsibility to put on someone who is still learning about your deeper emotions and may not yet be fully prepared to help carry that weight. Now, this doesn't mean that you should never share your vulnerabilities. Absolutely not. Vulnerability is important for deeper connection and trust, but timing is everything. The right time to share your vulnerabilities is when there's already a strong foundation of trust and emotional intimacy in place. When you've spent enough time together and the relationship has reached a level of maturity where both of you feel secure, that's when it's appropriate to start opening up about your emotional scars, fears, and weaknesses. But in the early stages, you don't need to lay it all out on the table. Instead, focus on being the best version of yourself. Be grounded, be steady, be strong. Show her that you can handle your life's challenges without crumbling under pressure. When you're emotionally stable, it gives her the space to see you as someone who can handle adversity, who can weather the storms of life and still stand tall. This doesn't mean you're perfect. It just means you're someone who is self-sufficient, someone who can tackle life head-on. When she sees that strength in you, it creates a natural attraction. Women want a man who can provide emotional security. And no, that doesn't mean you have to be emotionless or shut off. What it means is that you should have enough self-awareness and emotional control to not be constantly relying on her to soothe your wounds. Relationships are about mutual support, but in the beginning, it's important for both partners to feel emotionally stable and capable. One of the key mistakes many men make is thinking that by revealing their weaknesses, they'll appear more real, more human, or more relatable. While vulnerability can create a connection, if you're too open too soon, it can leave her feeling more like a caretaker than a partner. It can cause her to feel like she needs to fix you, and that can be a heavy burden. When this happens, she may subconsciously begin to question whether she's truly attracted to you or if she's just feeling obligated to help you heal or save you. This is a fine line to walk, because once the attraction shifts, it's hard to get back to a place where you're seen as a strong and capable partner. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about pretending to be something you're not. It's not about hiding your true self or acting like you don't have flaws. The key is to strike a balance between being emotionally available and being emotionally stable. You can still show that you're a human being with flaws and past mistakes, but you don't need to reveal all of them right away. Slowly build the trust and understanding between the two of you before you delve into your most intimate vulnerabilities. And once you've built that trust, then you can start to share your fears and insecurities, but in a way that's grounded and balanced. When you share your vulnerabilities with emotional control, it will be received differently. She will appreciate that you trust her, and at the same time, she'll still see you as the emotionally stable man she wants in her life. So, to sum it all up, hold back on revealing your deepest vulnerabilities and weaknesses too early. Women are drawn to strength, emotional stability, and a sense of security. When you're steady and grounded, you allow her to see you as someone she can lean on. But when you reveal too much too soon, it can unintentionally shift the emotional balance, leaving her feeling like she needs to take care of you instead of feeling attracted to you. It's about pacing yourself, building trust, and knowing that the right time to open up will come, but only when the relationship is strong enough to handle it. Remember, the goal isn't to hide your true self, but to create a relationship dynamic where both partners feel supported, respected, and emotionally secure. 2. Your need for personal space. Personal space is often something that's overlooked or misunderstood in relationships, but the reality is everyone, men and women alike, needs a certain level of personal space. The need for solitude or time alone is completely natural. It doesn't mean you love your partner any less or that you're dissatisfied with the relationship. It simply means that, as individuals, we all have our personal boundaries, and we need time to recharge, reflect, or just be with our own thoughts. However, here's the tricky part. Many men feel uncomfortable talking about this with their partners, and some even avoid it entirely. The fear of being misunderstood or being seen as emotionally distant leads many to bottle up their true feelings about needing alone time. But that's where the problem lies. When you don't express your need for space, it can unintentionally create tension in the relationship. Your partner may start to think you're pulling away from her, or worse, that she's doing something wrong. This misunderstanding can lead to unnecessary conflict. What you should know is that your need for personal space isn't an attack on your partner, nor is it an indication of emotional unavailability. It's essential for your mental well-being. Just like you value her time with you, she should also understand that there will be moments when you need solitude. Whether it's time to reflect, focus on personal projects, or just disconnect and recharge, expressing this need is crucial. However, it's important to communicate this in a way that reassures her. Instead of saying things like, "I just need to be alone," which can sound abrupt, frame it more as a self-care practice. Let her know that it's not about her, it's about you needing space to be the best version of yourself. For example, you could say, "I value our time together so much, but I also need some time to recharge so I can be fully present with you." This way, she understands that you're not withdrawing from her emotionally, but that you're actively ensuring the relationship stays healthy by maintaining your individuality. The key here is balance. Being in a relationship doesn't mean you lose yourself. It's important to continue growing, developing your own passions, and taking care of your personal needs. When you have time for yourself, you come back to the relationship with more energy, more love to give, and a deeper connection. And remember, the moment you start hiding this need out of fear of being misunderstood, you risk growing distant in a much less healthy way. So don't be afraid to set that boundary respectfully. Personal space is essential, and when communicated with love, it can actually strengthen your bond rather than weaken it. 3. Your past relationships and mistakes. When it comes to relationships, one of the things that many men mistakenly think is okay to share with their current partner is the details of their past relationships and mistakes. While it's important to be open and honest, sharing too much about your previous relationships can create unnecessary insecurity and doubt. Women don't need to know the intricate details of your past love life. Your history, whether good or bad, belongs to the past, and dwelling on it or talking about it frequently can lead to comparisons. She might wonder why things didn't work out with your ex, or start questioning what went wrong in your past relationships. This often leads to unhealthy thoughts and unwanted jealousy. Moreover, sharing the mistakes you've made in past relationships might seem like an attempt at being vulnerable or learning from past failures, but it can also leave her feeling like she's carrying the weight of your emotional baggage. Nobody wants to feel like they're being compared to a previous partner, or that they're stepping into the shadow of past mistakes. While it's essential to acknowledge your growth and the lessons you've learned from your experiences, oversharing about the mistakes you made can make her feel uncomfortable or even like she's walking into a relationship that isn't entirely clean. It's not that your partner will never know about your past. Eventually, certain things may come to light naturally as your relationship deepens. However, constantly bringing up past relationships, ex-partners, or mistakes you've made in the past can create an invisible barrier between you two. Instead of focusing on past failures, keep the focus on the present. Let your actions speak louder than your words when it comes to proving that you're a changed person, rather than using your mistakes as a topic of conversation. Sharing too much about your past can also make her wonder if you're truly ready to move on. She might fear that you're still emotionally attached to someone else, or that you're still healing from a previous heartbreak. These doubts can sow seeds of uncertainty in the relationship, and in many cases can cause unnecessary tension and distance. A woman wants to feel secure in the relationship, and if she feels like you're still hung up on your past, it will affect her ability to fully trust you. Remember, your past relationships and the mistakes you've made have shaped who you are today, but they don't define you. Focus on building trust with your current partner based on the person you are now, not who you were back then. Let her see your growth, maturity, and the wisdom you've gained from your past. But don't use your relationship with her as a space to replay your previous mistakes or discuss relationships that didn't work out. A strong, healthy relationship is based on the present and future, not a past that no longer serves either of you. 4. Your deepest fears about the future. When it comes to relationships, vulnerability is often seen as a sign of closeness and trust. However, there's a difference between opening up in a healthy way and overwhelming your partner with your deepest fears. One of the most sensitive topics that you should never fully disclose to your woman is your deepest fears about the future. Now, I'm not talking about sharing your everyday anxieties, like worrying about work or something you're unsure about in the moment. I'm referring to those profound existential fears that can shake you to your core, whether it's fear about failure, the uncertainty of your career path, or more intense concerns like the fear of never achieving your dreams, or even the fear that you'll one day lose your sense of purpose. These are deeply personal thoughts, and while it's important to acknowledge them, unloading these fears on your partner can create unnecessary pressure in the relationship. Women, by nature, often want to feel that their partner is a source of strength, stability, and security. When you constantly express deep uncertainties about your future, it can inadvertently make her feel that you're not emotionally solid or reliable. Yes, it's essential to be open, but if your woman starts seeing you as someone who's struggling to see the path ahead, it can plant seeds of doubt and insecurity in her mind about the future of the relationship itself. This can cause her to worry if she'll be able to rely on you when tough times come, and that can slowly erode the emotional foundation of your connection. Think of it this way: everyone experiences fear, but constantly voicing those fears can make them seem much larger than they actually are. Instead of talking about your deepest fears, focus on how you're taking steps to overcome them. Show her that, despite your fears, you're actively working towards your goals and doing everything you can to create a stable, successful future, not just for yourself, but for both of you. It's okay to express doubts in a constructive way, but don't allow those deep, paralyzing fears to dominate your conversations, because at the end of the day, your partner wants to feel that you're in control of your life and your future. In relationships, you're both supposed to support each other, but you're not meant to be each other's emotional crutch. Sharing your anxieties, fears, and vulnerabilities in a balanced and controlled way is important, but keep the most profound ones, especially the fears about your future, private, until you're confident enough to work through them yourself. And when you do share, frame it in a way that shows growth and hope, rather than focusing solely on the negative aspects. By doing this, you'll preserve the security and stability your woman seeks and strengthen the emotional bond you share. 5. Your personal goals and ambitions. When it comes to relationships, one of the most powerful dynamics is balance. The connection between two people thrives when both have their own sense of purpose, direction, and personal growth. However, there's one area that you should be careful about revealing too much of to your partner: your personal goals and ambitions. Now, this doesn't mean that you should hide or suppress your dreams or desires. The issue lies in the way you communicate them and when. Ambition is something women absolutely admire in men. They're drawn to those who are driven, focused, and passionate about what they want to achieve in life. But here's the catch: overloading your partner with your dreams, especially too early in the relationship, can sometimes have the opposite effect. When you reveal too much about your grand plans or distant goals, it can inadvertently make her feel like she's not an integral part of your future. The reason for this is that ambition, in its raw form, can seem overwhelming and isolating. If you're constantly talking about your long-term vision without integrating her into it, she may feel like she's being left out, or that you're more in love with your goals than you are with her. Women want to feel secure in a relationship. They want to know that their partner values them, not just as an accessory to their goals, but as someone who contributes to their journey. If your plans seem distant or don't involve her in any meaningful way, she might start questioning where she fits in. For example, imagine you're planning a major career change or a move to a different city for work. While these are significant life goals, Sharing every detail with her right away can put undue pressure on the relationship. She might start to feel as if she's competing for attention with your ambitions. Instead, it's important to share your dreams in a way that makes her feel included and valued in the process. Let her know how your ambitions could lead to a better future for both of you, how your goals can benefit the relationship as a whole. Talk about how you're striving for success, not just for yourself, but for the two of you. Incorporate her into your vision, rather than keeping her on the sidelines. Additionally, your personal goals should never come across as something you need to achieve in isolation. If you're always talking about how much work it will take to reach your dreams and how that requires total focus, she might interpret this as you neglecting the time and energy needed to nurture your relationship. The key here is balance. It's great to be ambitious, but don't let your partner feel like she's in competition with your dreams. Another important point is that when you talk too much about your goals, especially early on, it can make it seem like you don't fully have a handle on them. Women appreciate ambition, but they also value a man who is confident and knows where he's headed. If you're constantly talking about goals you're not actively working towards, or that seem too far off, it can give off a sense of uncertainty or lack of direction. While talking about your dreams is important, it's even more important to show that you are working toward them. Your actions should speak louder than your words. Women respect a man who works tirelessly to achieve his goals, not someone who is always talking about plans that aren't coming to fruition. One way to approach this is to be intentional about the timing and the tone in which you talk about your personal goals. When you do share, make sure the conversation is balanced and comes from a place of mutual respect. Talk about the sacrifices, challenges, and successes that come with pursuing those ambitions. Let her know that while your goals are important, she is equally as important in your life, and that you're committed to achieving these things while maintaining the health of your relationship. Lastly, it's crucial to remember that your ambition should never overshadow the time, effort, and attention needed to build a meaningful relationship. Both partners need to be focused on growing together, not just on their individual paths. Ambition is attractive, but so is commitment to each other. Women don't just want a man who's focused on climbing the ladder of success. They want a partner who is willing to grow and evolve together, who can balance personal goals with shared experiences and love. So when you do share your personal goals, always make sure they align with your partner's needs and desires as well. In short, your ambitions should be woven into the fabric of your relationship. Avoid making them the center of every conversation or presenting them in a way that makes her feel less important. Instead, talk about them in a way that shows your dedication to building a future that includes her, where your personal growth becomes part of your shared journey. Balance is the key here. Let your ambition drive you forward while keeping your connection with her just as strong and meaningful. These 5 secrets are a game changer for any relationship. Keep them in mind and watch how your connection deepens. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe.